Hi there. As of now, NIR is dropping by about 5%. It's time to look at its price and see where it's heading through the Wyckoff lens and see what the whales are actually doing. If you're new to my sessions, I'll cover the Wyckoff stage, potential price trend change, as well as key price levels. And these are education content only, not financial advice. The weekly chart of NIR currently is below the level where October 10th set, the tariff announcement date. Back then, it was around 1.4. The current price level is at about 1.3. However, this is not the lowest level in NIR's history. You see this white box over here, what I call the long-term playground. The bottom of the long-term playground is at around 98 cents. If I zoom out and let you see what happened back in history, in October 2023, that's where something we call a spring happened. It's basically a very deep test. The whales used to shake out the last bit of paper hands, and then they start to push the price and launch it to the next distribution cycle. All right, that's the maneuver they always do. Spring may not happen every single accumulation cycle, but deeper tests happens a lot of times. You see, even in this cycle, there was a second test back in June last year, and then subsequent tests to even lower level as of this point. So it's not a surprise that the price goes to the previous lows back in 2023. I don't care what reason people told you about, the crypto adoption and beautiful charity, whatever act that is, that pass or don't pass. The key over there is that whether capital is willing to get to risk on, whether they have news to sell, to get the retail buy-in to come into this market. Because at the end of the day, they accumulated a bunch of stocks, the whales are in. If there's not positive news piled up in the near future, they're not going to let the price to go up. Not until the point they see when the number of good news are going to, or not necessarily good news, even bad news, that they can sell as good news stacked in the pipeline in the next, 6, 12, 18 months. They're not going to let the price surge. When they see that kind of pipeline is there, they start to let the positivity comes in. They pour in a little bit of money, push the price up. And then when those opportunity comes in, when the news got released, that's when the price got pumped. Because people start to buy into those news and FOMO in. That's the psychology behind it. What we hope to see as a first step, let's bring it back to a little bit more micro. We want to see something called this, SOS. Not asking for, rescue. It's basically advanced with volume, meaning a bunch of white candlesticks with taller volume bar than average. It can be multiple candlesticks, multiple white volume bars, or just one or two massive ones. It doesn't have to be the same. But what it ends up very similar is that they're going to retest a level set by something we call the automatic rally. When the price first came down to a point where the panic over stage, what we call the selling climax, arrived. People panic, sell no more. The price stabilized. The price will rebound. That's where the big guys set the trading range top. And subsequently during the accumulation cycle, this level will be tested multiple times. Sometimes these SOS can go a little bit higher. In the case of NIR, it may go as high as the yellow cliff of 3.73 or even slightly higher. And then you can see potentially a wick come in, pushing the candle close a little bit lower, like what it did over here. Not that massive, but like an example. So that's what we hope to see. We challenge this white dashed line at around 3.24. That's also the center line of this long-term playground. Okay, you see in multiple occasions that support or resistance appear over there. Okay, so that's the big picture. Now we go to the micro and see whether there's any potential trend change. Last week I covered there's a downtrend going on. And by the 29th, meaning yesterday, we'll get an answer, and we get it. And it's a big answer that the price got shot down from this resistance line. When it crosses the support level of 1.47 that was supposed to protect the bulls, or has been protecting the bulls for quite a number of days until the point of 25th. The bulls successfully pushed it back on the 27th, but when we get to that date that I tagged last week, the rejection came in. The bears hit hard. You see the volume way higher than the previous 7 days. So in the last 10 days, these 3 days, you see how high the volume was compared to the previous 6 days, 7 days since the 21st. All right, so this is still going on. Instead of just giving you a line, let's turn this into a channel. Because now we have sufficient reference points, sufficient candlesticks for us to draw a more nicely looking channel than just a thin line over there. Okay, so there we go. If this continues with this downtrend, this is right after, a few days after the Valentine's Day. If I adjust it may look closer to the Valentine's Day. So let's get a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter this way as well. It's going to be dangerously romantic. It's a little bit tough when we get to these kind of micro scales. If I want to draw these channels, okay, that should be close enough. All right, still pointing towards the 16th, 17th, that kind of range. So let's, I don't want everything, I just want this guy. Okay, let's say it's the 16th. Another occasion where a trend change confirmation is potentially going to happen. So look to the left. No, not much reference until we get to this point. So let's draw the line down here. When we look at what happened over here back in 2023, there were clearly a little bit of references that we can take. So what's in between now and the 16th of Feb? Not too far. It's just within 2 weeks' time. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Okay. I just want to let you see if the price comes down to challenge 1.24 roughly, or even further, 1.15, before it gets to the very bottom that I explained in the beginning. We've got 2 other dates that we can take reference, the 31st, the 7th. So these are dates that the whales can confirm where the direction is going to head to. Is it still going to continue downwards, or is it going to finally turn sideways? So the second date is around the 10th. So very intense week or intense fortnight. All right, 2 weeks, 3 occasions. All right, so that's both the macro and micro view for NEAR. If you're interested to get access to these sessions 2 days earlier than the others, it's time to join the channel membership now. See you in the next session. Here's another video that you will be interested in. See you.